Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Wet Ones upload. And I just wanted to quickly say thank you to everybody for all the support on our last video.
You know, there's no reason that we couldn't make another video. You know what they say, the Wet Ones, they always come back. Today we wanted to talk to you about our ideas for what Terraria 2 could potentially have that could change the formula and change what we know about Terraria in general. We wanted to talk about our good and evil idea, which would split the 4 core classes into 2 separate subclasses. And then we'll talk about a little bit more about how more in-depth this could go than just the classes. I'll get started with the first one. First, we have for the melee subclasses, we have the Executioner and the Paladin. Paladin obviously reminds you of, the Holy Light, very similar to most paladin classes, how they're generally represented in pop culture. They're holy, they wear white, they usually have a horse maybe, and they usually fight for good or, whatever stupid, not cool at all, by the way. Just kidding. The light of God,
with Jesus,
the light of God does shine on all, and Jesus, it's impossible for this not to be the best class. So with that said, we have the Executioner next, who is the dark and scary miscreant, the evil version of the melee class.
Evil Mason be like, I hate Terraria. In the past, it was very shameful to be an Executioner. That's why they always hid their faces. They were not allowed to be known by the general public, and they were considered below the lowest of the low.
Is that true?
Executioner lore.
Executioners were not... People did not like them.
Evil, generally disliked by most people. Makes sense to me.
Next up, we have the Magic class. It would be broken down into the Cultist and Priest subclasses. The Cultist just fits perfectly within the Terraria world, in our opinions. It's just a good fit.
Makes too much sense.
Evil. It makes
like a callback.
Yeah, it's like a little callback to like the one guy. I forget his name, but he's some sort of guy.
He's kind of crazy.
So the Priest would just kind of be a perfect antithesis to the Cultist vibe. It would be something that uses specializes more in holy or like light magic.
Of course.
He's closer to God.
Yeah,
he's
always
much closer to God.
Always closer to God. Oh, that's all we're.
And he's kind of closer to me too, but.
What are we?
He was closer to me when I was a little bit younger, too.
Yeah.
So next for the range, we have the Outlaw, which is, it's a classic. I mean, it fits perfectly within the Ranger, gunslinger aesthetic and...
Like a cowboy.
Yeah.
I like a dirty cowboy.
I like an Outlaw. Outlaw, like I said, fits perfectly within the theme and narrative of the Ranger class.
Cassidy.
And then the next one we thought it'd be kind of interesting. This word that you're seeing on screen is Toxophilite. Toxophilite is essentially someone who enjoys the art of making bows and arrows, archery, essentially. Kind of like a Fletcher. And this didn't really have any specific good or, holy connotation like paladin or priest, but we thought it was a little bit of just like a neutral kind of word, and it sounded cool, so we were like, all right.
The name's cool.
I've never heard that word before we started researching this, so I thought it was a really cool word.
I know. The Summoner, that one's kind of my baby. On every playthrough, I play the weakest class, the Summoner, With this one, you have the Necromancer. Basically, the Necromancer would just essentially raise the undead and, allow you to manipulate, for example, more enemies like, maybe like a zombie, a skeleton, or even like there was some inspiration from the optic staff, which is kind of based on bosses, and maybe there could be more of those summon weapons where you can implement a smaller boss baby. I love the boss baby.
Second boss baby reference.
Yeah. So the Necromancer is kind of a boss baby. There's the Luminary. Luminary is basically a person who inspires or influences others. Again, we were kind of going along the theme of just badass names. Maybe you could have the good graces of God on your side, because another derivative of the name is it's a natural light-giving body, especially the sun or the moon. So maybe this class here, it could have something to do with spirals of holy light. It's kind of, there's some summon weapons and calamity like that, I believe.
Mm-hmm. We thought these were super cool and kind of our own idea, something none of us have really seen being speculated on, and it goes deeper than just these subclasses here. but it's also going to influence the general overall progression of the world, and how you progress in the game and decisions you make. So basically, the good and evil would allow you to choose what aspects of the world's power that you would want to inherit into your customizable loadout, of course. You know, I don't want to say that every weapon would have a good and evil version, but that would be really interesting. And maybe, you know, maybe that they changes aesthetically, you know, it changes its function as a weapon, which is another thing that we'll get into. But, you know, the idea is that you go the evil path, you get evil weapons and accessories and armors, and if you go the good path, you get the good.
You get holy items. Almost.
Yeah.
Blessed items.
Blessed items, you could call it even. Yeah. If you don't want to be as unoriginal as good and evil.
Man, I love that Jesus guy.
Now, would there be like cross linking between accessories and stuff?
My
or
idea.
Is that what you were just saying?
Well, I mean, it depends. Like, you could do something unique. Like, you could do like maybe neutral items and weapons that like maybe don't have a specific power, and maybe provide something that neither of them could on their own. You know, or you could cross breed them.
No, crossbreeding's huge.
That's the gist of that. And then another idea we had was maybe your town NPCs, if they have them in Terraria 2, maybe those town NPCs can be influenced by the choices that you make, and what you choose to progress as. You know, maybe there's a good and evil version of the town NPCs. We already have 2 different forms of the town NPCs in Terraria 1 when they added Shimmer, so makes sense to maybe have that be influenced in some way. You know, you want it to go beyond just the classes and items.
Do you think they could add like an alt nurse?
Yeah,
like a
breedable alt nurse.
Yeah.
All right, I think another good part of like the NPC side of the game would be the possibility on the evil side to like sacrifice NPCs to get you certain like, I don't know, different buffs, and like maybe you'd have to go through some like more rigmarole to like get them back, or like, I don't know. I'm not sure like the actual what you would get from, if you guys have any ideas, I don't know, but like what you would get from sacrificing the NPCs. But I think it's something that should maybe make it to the evil side.
I think temporarily sacrificing NPCs would be a way to kind of encourage, you know, it would be some kind of like risk reward system. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Like kind of like in Bloons, you can like, I think it's Adora, you can sacrifice towers to her. And she gets like a attack buff temporarily. So something like that I think would be very interesting, and it could obviously, there could be some good you know, counterpart to that, but that's kind of
I like Quincy.
Guys,
a way to kind of backdoor this whole thing is, you know, say you're playing with your buddies, the Necromancer could almost like raise them from the dead. I feel like there should definitely be more ways to bring your NPCs back.
Yeah.
Maybe paying, like, maybe there's like a new NPC that's like a boss baby NPC where he hires other NPCs, like new NPCs to come in. So it's kind of different from Terraria's natural like generation.
That's a good idea, actually. Like a recruiter, almost.
Like a recruiter, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, not a boss baby.
We also wanted to talk about how this may influence the order in which you defeat bosses. Obviously, you know, there's sort of linearity when it comes to the bosses you can defeat in Terraria, but I think what would be really cool is if the tract that you take along your journey would influence the order in which you defeat the final boss. We had 2 different ideas for this. One was that you could defeat the opposite path's deity, and then ultimately defeat the tract that you align with to become the ultimate deity of that path that you take. So you could become the ultimate good or the ultimate evil, essentially. Or the other idea was basically the inverse. You defeat the ultimate evil. Say, for example, if you went with the evil tract, you defeat the ultimate evil to defeat the ultimate good. You know, maybe you prove yourself worthy to the ultimate evil, and he assists you in defeating the ultimate good, and vice versa. so obviously.
Is Jesus the final good boss?
I really hope not, because I don't want to have to choose. I don't want to have to be.
I don't want to do that to him.
I don't think we could beat Jesus.
I don't think we could beat him personally. Yeah.
The balancing would be interesting because obviously Satan would be much weaker. So they might try and like buff him or something. Maybe make more of them. I don't know. They got to give him something though to compete with the power of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Yeah, and if you remember the last video with the when we were analyzing the map with the heart in the bottom left, and then the beam of light in the top right of the map, they're kind of like on the opposite end, and that kind of to me represented the opposite final bosses.
So like, is that like the heart of Cthulhu maybe, and then God's light, of course. Yeah.
Wrap it up here. The last thing that it would resemble how the Spectre armor works in Terraria, where there are certain advantages to choosing which tract you want to take, which path you want to be influenced by. The good tract would provide like better defensive bonuses to like weapons, armor, accessories, providing more defense, more regen, increasing your max health, and maybe buffing your allies. The evil tract would provide possibly more offensive capabilities to the weapons and armor and stuff, increasing damage, crit rate, attack speed.
Because the good side's all about, we're lovers, not haters.
One other thing to kind of balance it out, maybe you have ultimate control over both aspects of the world, and maybe once you defeat both of the bosses, you have ultimate control over both good and evil. You can kind of like manipulate all those things that are affected by the good and evil in the way that you want. So, you could make your weapons good and your armor evil, and maybe they have some unique synergy or something like that.
Ooh,
so
that'd be cool.
So something like that. Just an interesting reward to have for beating the game and making it a little bit easier for completionists and stuff like that.
No, yeah, I think that's a good idea, but like Terraria 2 might be better if it's like a like a dating sim kind of or like a visual novel. Like I don't know, Honey Pop's great. Honey Pop 2, did you see how good that was?
What?
Big Honey
What
Pop
are you
head.
talking about? What? Thank you. Yeah, thanks guys. We've had a lot of very recent a lot of support, and we just wanted to say thank you so much. We're really glad that you guys do genuinely like what we're doing, and we're going to try and do more of it. And, hopefully you guys will stick around, because we have a lot of ideas and we really are proud of what we've created, even if it's just one single video so far.
We've had one video get like, I don't know, like maybe just right now at this moment, like just over like 50,000 views. It is going to our heads. We do have massive egos now. But
I saw someone, I thought they were a fan. They were waving at me. They were waving at somebody else. I was like, oh, do you want a picture? Oh.
Yeah, so we've started getting recognized in public a little more often. We just really wanted to genuinely say thank you for all the support and all the nice comments. We do read all of them. I know I was at work and I was checking the view count on the video and the comments like at least once an hour, probably more.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it's surreal.
I don't know how many times I've refreshed the YouTube, just our channel in the last 2 days. I've refreshed. This is the closest I've been paying attention to anything in my life.
And I'm thankful for you. I'll see you in the next one.
So guys, keep an eye out next week. We're going to be doing some Honey Pop 3 speculation.
Love Honey Pop.
Yeah, we love Honey Pop. We love porn.